keep going, and I help entrepreneurs design online businesses that allow them to profit anywhere. In 2015, using just about everything I had learned from over a decade working with startups and entrepreneurs, I left my last day job and started a consulting business from my living room in Savannah, Georgia. I managed to make $120,000 working part-time, and then just a few years later, I left Savannah to travel full-time with Remote Year and have continued traveling for the last 14 months, living and working in 13 different countries and running my business. While my life is pretty amazing and I love working with clients around the world, life was not always this amazing. You know, I started my career, as most people do, with kind of a pretty awesome job in a Fortune 500 company. It was the type of job that on paper was just absolutely amazing. It's somebody's dream job. And in fact, it was my dream job for the first couple of years. It wasn't until a few years later that I became so burnt out that I was barely functioning, you know, and I found that I had all of the things that I was supposed to have. I had the house and the car, I had the art, I had the decent clothing, you know, all of those things that we think we need to be happy, and it was just miserable. I really was miserable. I didn't feel like I fit in. I found myself exhausted and discontent. I was doing a lot of drinking and spending extra money just to try and make myself feel better. And ultimately I realized that I was just so burnt out that I could not stay in that job, and I quit without a plan, which is something that I really don't recommend that people do. You know, I struggled for a really long time. I ended up going back and earning my master's in business administration and moved to Silicon Valley, and I'm so thankful that that career shift got me to work with entrepreneurs who are my people. But over the last 10 years, you know, I went back and forth from trying to run my own business and trying to work for someone else. You know, I never really fit into a traditional work life, but I had a hard time getting my business off of the ground. You know, if I had enough clients to pay my bills, then I was probably stressed out and overworked. If I was actually enjoying my life, I probably didn't have enough clients, and it was kind of this endless cycle. And so I would take a new job, and you know, it'd be an amazing, promising job, something that looked amazing on the resume, or a product that I was excited about, a team I was excited to work with. And no matter how amazing it was on paper, it just always ended up the same way. I just didn't fit in. I always wanted more. I wanted more freedom. I wanted more adventure. I wanted to travel more. You know, I wanted more money so that I could take care of my family. I wanted more, and I didn't quite know how to get it. And looking back, I see now that I really kept myself trapped. You know, it was primarily my fear and self-doubt that kept me taking those corporate jobs and kept me playing small, and prevented me from moving forward into a business that I really loved. I always knew there was more to life than just a cubicle. I just wasn't sure how to make a business work for me. I knew that I was good at what I did. I was a designer, and I was a pretty decent designer, and I loved that piece of every job that I ever took. I loved the design work. I loved doing the work, and I worked hard. I was not afraid of working hard. And in fact, I probably worked harder than a lot of my colleagues. I just had a problem with doing it for somebody else or by somebody else's rules. You know, why did I have to be in the office from 9 to 5 just because somebody said that's the office hours? I'm really creative at 7 o'clock at night. Why can't I work at 7 o'clock at night and go to the beach in the afternoon? You know, why do I have to wear pantyhose to the office because some dude in the 1940s said that that was appropriate attire? I never really got by on doing things just to do things. I was never really okay with that. You know what I mean? So maybe you feel the same way. Maybe you're like me and you know you just don't belong in a cubicle. You know, the cubicle life is just not meant for you. I know how scary it is to think about giving up your paycheck and your salary. I know how scary it is to think about, you know, paying for insurance and taxes and managing all of that stuff. But I assure you that if you're good at what you do and you're dedicated to running your own business, you have what it takes. You know, I did everything wrong and I survived, and you will too. You know, and more importantly, I'm here to share some of the things that I learned so you can avoid the mistakes that I made that kept me struggling for so long. I'm going to take away the fear and confusion surrounding starting a new business so that you can move forward into your new life with confidence and can ensure that you're working on the right tasks to create a profitable business that's going to support you in your lifestyle. If that sounds good, I will see you in the next video.